Hi, I'm Roland Stevens, the General Manager of Client Advisory and Partnerships at TCorp. Welcome to another edition of our Vantage Fireside Chat series. Today I'm joined by TCorp's Chief Executive, Rob Kenna. Hi Rob, how are you?
Good, thanks Roland, how are you?
Good, thank you. Rob was appointed as the Chief Executive of TCorp in December last year, so we thought at the 3-month mark it would be a good time to have a chat.
It is just over 3 months to the day. I think it was the 5th of December was my first day in the job, a Friday.
Excellent. Well, let's dive in. Rob, could you, maybe we start with a bit of history, your career journey, both before TCorp and at TCorp. If you could say a few words about that.
Yeah, I've spoken a lot about this actually since coming into the role. I've been catching up with all of our clients, or most of our clients, many of our clients, and a lot of our staff. And I've been talking about myself a lot more than I'm accustomed to or I like. So
there'll be more of this today.
Hopefully I can keep it reasonably brief. My background certainly, from my perspective, it doesn't seem super interesting, but I've come out of the banking industry. I worked at Commonwealth Bank for well over 20 years. I started my career journey there in their Melbourne dealing room, working across real nuts and bolts financial markets topics like FX, interest rates, derivatives, cash, fixed income. After a period of time, it was pretty clear that the financial markets industry was very much centred around Sydney. I was keen to get exposure to capital markets, and that brought me here. That was 20 years ago. I thought I was coming for a couple of years, and now here I am. I can't really imagine being anywhere else. I worked through a range of different roles, building my experience across leadership and different aspects of effectively the debt ecosystem. And when I left Commonwealth Bank, I was responsible for a range of those things: debt capital markets, securitisation, loan market syndication. I'd had agency at points, credit portfolio management. So very much a sort of a debt, financial markets and banking background. About 5 years ago, well, just over 5 years ago, because I've been here for 5 years now, I got a call asking me if I'd be interested in applying for a role at TCorp.
You tapped on the shoulder.
I wouldn't say tapped on the shoulder. It certainly didn't feel that way. At the start, I sort of tried to offer some other people that I thought could be great for the role, and then they suggested how about I have a think about myself. And as I thought about it, I came to the realisation that I was really keen to get a change. I was looking for something that probably had a different purpose to the one that I was very accustomed to and had spent over 20 years working around. I recognised, having dealt with a number of people from TCorp over the years, that it was a good organisation that had a lot of great people, and it did something meaningful and important. So I thought to myself, well, this is a good time, to look at that change. I went through the process, I was successful, I came across here, and that was 5 years ago, and here we sit today.
Here you are. And maybe we focus in on the last 91 days or whatever it is. What have been your top priority? Fresh in the role, what's been your top priority?
Yeah, look, through this process of leading up to the role, I thought a lot about, what was really important up front. And I recognised TCorp has got good people. It's got a strong and well-defined culture and strong relationships. So taking advantage of that really good position, I wanted to use a little bit of time to really immerse myself in listening to what our stakeholders thought, what our people thought. Because starting within the business is great. In a lot of ways, the people are familiar to me, the culture's known, the stakeholder universe is known, but at the same time I recognise it's really important to immerse myself in the wider organisation so that at a point in time where we're really setting our direction and driving things forward, I'm doing that with the benefit of a full range of perspectives, not coming out of my old role here, which was to lead the financial markets business. So that's been the real focus for the first 3 months, meeting with stakeholders, meeting with our clients, meeting with our staff, and listening, because you only get sort of one chance to do that the first time. So I wanted to make the most of it. And that's what I've been doing.
Thank you. Well, this Vantage newsletter is really targeted at our clients. In your initial client engagements, what are you hearing? What's some of the messages that are coming through to you?
Yeah, look, I suppose the key message is probably one of the unspoken ones, where you just get that real sense, what people say to you and what you feel from them can sometimes be two different things. But in all the meetings I've had, I have not only just in what people say, but also, the reception and the genuine welcome we have from them is that people really value the relationship that they have with TCorp and recognise the effort that we put into helping them. It's reaffirmed that perspective that I came into the role with, that we're in a good starting position. Of course, there's things people would like us to do better. Just as we recognised 12 months, 24 months ago, there were things that we wanted to do better. And no doubt in 12 months and 24 months' time, there'll be lots of things that we're looking to do better. But at this point in time, it's really clear there's a lot of goodwill between the clients and us. There's a recognition that we are, and to use our word, one of our cultural pillars is partnership, that we work in partnership with our clients. Of course, we don't get everything right. But, when there's an issue, I think people feel like we've got that strength of relationship to have the conversation, and they recognise there's a lot of good intent on our part. Like, if something's gone wrong, it's likely a mistake than any ill will.
That's good. It's encouraging feedback.
Yeah, no, definitely been encouraging and supportive feedback, definitely.
Maybe looking forward in the near term, are there 2 or 3 success metrics for you or outcomes in the next sort of 12 to 18 months? So not the sort of long strategic view, but as you look at TCorp today, are there things that you are focused on?
Yeah, I suppose to an extent, it's about maintaining our strong position. So, without setting a low bar or being complacent, we are in a strong position. And the first thing you've got to do to move forward is not move backwards. So I think maintaining those really strong relationships, which isn't easy, we deal in a challenging world, in a challenging marketplace that's ever changing with high expectations and appropriately high expectations. So I think maintaining those strong relationships, investing in those, and that's about me investing in those in my new capacity. So the relationships are in good shape and growing strongly, and that I have established myself in those. That'll be one key success metric to support the team. I think that, our culture continues to come to life across our business in a uniform way. That'll be the second. And then that, we're delivering for our clients and our core objectives, but to support that not just now into the future, that we're delivering the strategic plan that we've got in place and we continue to add to that so that we're not just delivering good results today, we continue to do that in the years to come. There'll be the things that I'm focused on in the first 12 to 18 months and also recognising it's a bit of a change, establishing my relationships right across the organisation.
Thank you. You mentioned in your answer then delivering to clients. What is that? How do we know if we're delivering to clients?
Well, hopefully, if we've got the good relationships I hope we have, they tell us if we're delivering.
Yep. One would hope, yes.
And certainly this is going out to our clients. If you think we're not delivering, then we definitely want to hear about it.
Yep.
We want to be able to get better. We want to deliver for our clients. And we want to have open and honest conversations about what that means. So my first thing is I would say engage us. And it means different things for different people delivering for them. Obviously we operate across 2 main areas, being the financial markets or debt management side of our business and the investment management side of our business. So through a really simple lens, for some of our clients that means low risk, low cost debt, and for some of our clients it means sustainable investment portfolios with high returns. But I think beyond that, all of those clients want transparency and strong engagement. And what are those other things that we can deliver for them beyond just those investment returns and that debt management? Yeah, beyond the core. And so, Roland, you and your team are doing some work around advisory, for example. We maintain a deep set of partnerships across the investment management and the banking universe. That gives us a lot of access, so we can leverage some of those to help people around the New South Wales government family with the important work that they're doing.
Great. Maybe we just pan out now to the world. World's an interesting place as we speak. There's war in the Middle East, we've got inflation swings, there's the impact of AI, and obviously there's market impact in all of that on both sides of the business. How is TCorp how does TCorp factor that in? How are we adjusting our strategies to cope with all of this? How do you think about this?
Oh,
It's a big question. Yeah,
it's a very
yeah,
big question. I think, look, on one hand, there's a focus on something's happened, what do we do in response to it? But I think a lot of the time it's about really what you've done in preparation before that event so that you're in a strong position to see your way through the unpredictable. And I think that actually defines a lot of what we do here at TCorp. I know within the investments team, they've got a saying, prepare not predict.
Yes,
and I think
yes.
it's very simple, but it's very true. You don't know, and increasingly it seems in the world, there's a lot of unpredictability in events. And even if you could predict some of these events, you don't indeed know what the impact's going to be. That itself can be unpredictable.
What the market reaction
so
might
you've
be.
got you've got this double lens of difficult to predict situations. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how the world's going to react to it. But what you can do is prepare yourself for those unpredictable events by building resilient investment portfolios, by diversifying your debt investor base, by mitigating the risks of it, whether that's how you're exposed across the asset or geography universe, or how much debt you've got maturing in a given period of time. It's about building that resilience, often through increased diversity.
So it's a rigour in preparation and flexibility in reaction.
Yeah, but I mean, you mentioned, I suppose, the state of the world, and these seems to be heightened frequency of unpredictable events, and I think that's very much a factor now. I sort of don't like to use this term because I think it's overphrased, but the geopolitical environment seems more volatile, and we certainly recognise that that's the case. For a long time we worked in an environment where economies were closer together, relatively stable. We were in globalisation as a backdrop, and that now seems to have changed, and we need to acknowledge that is going to pop up in unpredictable ways around our portfolios or as we execute our debt program, and just be mindful of that upfront.
Thank you. Maybe coming back to you again, Rob, we'll do a rapid fire round soon with some personal questions, but before that, maybe a more philosophical question. So let's fast forward quite a few number of years. What would you like people to say about your leadership, or even today? You've led teams and organisations today. What do you want people to say about your leadership?
Look, I think inherently I'm a people person, so I want people to feel like they've been able to build a relationship either with me or our organisation during our time. And I think, in terms of the test of time, I hope that, as the person I take over this role from, I'm sure has definitely left the organisation in better shape for the world that we're in than they received it. At the end of it, I've managed to do the same, and I hope that the person that comes to this role after me does exactly the same thing. I think it's a responsibility. TCorp's an important institution that, we're just riding alongside its development with the team driving it, and that, I help those people navigate it to, a strong place so that whoever comes in the next role, that, the next version of me, finds an organisation in as strong health as the one I found today.
Excellent, thank you. All right, we're going to go from the poetic there now to the prosaic. A few getting to know you questions to close out. I think you answered this before, but we'll bring it up again. Where did you grow up, Rob?
I grew up in Melbourne.
Very good. We won't hold that against you.
No.
Do you have a morning routine? Is there something you do to get going in the morning?
Well, woken up by my phone is the start of it usually, although increasingly I seem to wake up before it. No, I just, at this time of year, it's lovely in Sydney. I make myself a little bit of breakfast. I sit outside, have a cup of coffee, and then I get on my bike and I ride into the city.
Excellent. On one of those green bikes, or you have your own bike?
No, I have my own, yeah, and I wear a helmet.
Oh, very good. How do you unwind outside of work?
How do I want? I do a little bit of cooking, a little bit of reading, and a little bit of TV.
What are you reading now?
At the moment, I am reading a book. It's the follow-on. I can't remember what it's called, but it's about it's a serial killer, the surgeon, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's with the first. I think it's called The Apprentice.
Oh, very, very nice. And sports teams. I know you're a mad AFL fan. Who do you support?
I am a very keen AFL supporter, and I support Hawthorn, which is the team I grew up supporting, but my Sydney team is the Giants.
Go.
And I went to watch them Hawthorn lose to the Giants in the opening round 2 weeks ago.
How did you feel about that? Were you torn?
Sad.
Sad.
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll close out with this one. What is the best piece of advice you have ever received?
Look, I've been really fortunate to know and work with some really great people, and I've been asked versions of this question a little bit over the last couple of months, but the one that really keeps coming to mind is that if you want to be able to move forward in life and make space for new things in a career, a new role, or in your personal life, other things, you've got to be prepared to let things go to make way for them. And that very much stays in my mind as I'm within an organisation. I've moved from one role to another. I recognise that in my old role there certainly still remains plenty of work to be done, and it's up to that team to do it. And if I'm going to do this current job, I need to leave them to do that and support them in getting that work done. So that's the piece of advice that stands out most for me. If you want to move forward, you've got to make room to do that.
Sounds like sound advice for life. Thank you, Rob.
Thank
for
you,
joining
Roland.
the Vantage Fireside Chat, and thank you
It was
to our
my
viewers.
pleasure. And thank you to our clients.